Continuing with the process of filling in this space, I see that over here on this side, we've got this air cleaner cover here. I'm going to press Control 3 on the numpad to go to the left orthographic view. And here we can see that air vent air cleaner cover. And I've got some reference images over here that I think might help. So let's work on trying to get this in place and see how this might be done. First of all, I'll ensure that the cursor is in the center of the grid with Shift S1. And then I will use that trick again of Shift and right click to move the cursor here. And now that should still be in the center because I put it in the center of the grid. All right, so now let's just create a cube, Shift A, Mesh Cube. We'll take it down to maybe 0.1 here in size. And then we're still in local transformation mode, so that's good. Let's just hit R and turn. And let's get it in here about the right size. And angle here, let's do that. And then what we can do is tab into edit mode, press Shift Z, and I'll just take these points and move them back to here. And maybe take this point and move it forward like this. So we've got the beginnings of that basic shape. And then let's tumble around. I'll press Shift Z again, and let's get it in the proper width. And it looks like if I press S and X, it may be, about this wide, like this, let's say. And then we need to pull it out. So how far out do you think it is? Well, that's a good question. So here's that frame here. It looks like maybe it's out about like this. It's really hard to tell on these photographs, but I'm going to say it comes out about to where this is. Let's just put that there for now. And then let's go in and add some edge loops to this. So let me move the cursor back to the center of the grid with Shift S1. And I think we're going to need to use a subdivision surface modifier for this to get these kind of indentations, or at least hint at them. I don't think we're going to get them quite exact. But if we are going to use a subdivision surface modifier, I'm going to go ahead and add a few edges in here before we do. Let me press Control A and apply the scale. So we're all ones over here in the scale values. And then I'm going to tab into edit mode and select this face and hit the I key and just inset in like that. And then let's press Control 3 and Shift Z, and then I'm going to press EY to move in the Y axis here, just in like this, just a bit. We should probably add a few edges here. I think I'm going to add some edges along here. I'll create 2 and then scale out in the X with S and X. And then let's add an edge along here. I'll bring this down and then I'll hit the E key and then the F key to align it to this side of the object like that. And then these sides here, we really want some curves on there. So I don't yet know where we want to put an edge there. So let's go ahead and add a subdivision surface modifier here. And yeah, so now we need to just create an edge and move it in like this. And maybe I'll hit the E key and then the F key to line it up to this side here. And so that kind of curve is about the kind of thing we want here. If I tab into edit mode and then smooth it, this is what we get. We could come down and turn on auto smooth here and then drag this up a bit, see what that will get us. And then I'd like to deal with these indentations here. And I feel like if we added maybe 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 edges here, that might give us enough to do that. However, once we do that, that's going to collapse, or that's going to tighten up these curves. So let's see what we can do with this. I'm going to press Control R. That's 3, 4, 5 there. Let's do that. Yeah, see, that really kind of tightened up those curves, but that might work though. We could take some of these and move them down a bit so we get a little bit more of a curve there. Let's give that a try. I'll select this and Control click this, and then I'll Shift click this and then Control click this. And let's try that. Then I'm going to bring them in the Z. Let's press SZ. Yeah, that helps move that in a bit. We may need to slide these in some, but that's okay. We'll do that soon. And then what I'd like to do is take these edges here, like this, and these edges here. And let's just pull these out a bit. I'm going to pull them out just a bit like this. I'll turn on the cage again so we can see that. And then I feel like I'd like to give these a bit of a bevel. Let's try this. I'm going to press Control B and pull out just a bit. Hold the Shift key down, and this is about as good as we're going to get it right here. Let me try that. I'm going to pull those out just a bit more and see what happens here. Yeah, so we're getting a bit of that curve there, although that edge here is a little too far forward. So let's see if we can bring this back. I'll hit G 2 times and bring this back a bit. It kind of collapses my corner there, so maybe I'll take these now and move these in the y-axis, or just hit G 2 times and slide these. Yeah, so we can control the curve of that a bit like that. All right, let's see how we're doing. A little bit better. We might be able to take all of these and move these with G 2 times again and move these back a bit. Try that. Yeah, so we're getting kind of that sense that we've got these indentations in here. And that really may be all we need. We could bring the viewport level up 1. That might help a bit. Yeah, so I think that may just give that sense that there's just some indentations there. Let's also add these pieces here, these screws. Once again, I'm not going to do the straight slot on the flathead screw. I'm just going to add one in there. In fact, what we could do is we could take one of these. Let me just grab one of these and press Shift-DZ and move this over here. And maybe for the moment, I'll change to global and spin this around in the Z-axis, RZ180, like that. And then let's bring it up and put it into place here. Control 3 to go to the left orthographic view, and then I'll hit G and bring this up. And maybe right in here, let's try that. If I take this and bring it forward, something like this, and then let's maybe add it to this object so it takes on the subdivision surface modifier. Let's maybe try that. Let me take this and move it to where I want it to be, and then I'll press Shift and click this, and then when I press Control J, it will add that to the last object selected. So there we go. And we could maybe add an edge right in here to kind of sharpen up that edge there. And then we just take it and duplicate it. So I'll press the L key here, Shift D, and move this to about right here, let's say. Let's try that. So there we go. Now we've got the air cleaner there. Let me go back to the side view and Shift Z and make sure we've got it the way we want it. I may want to increase it in the Z just a bit. SZ and bring that up just a bit. Now let's try this. Yeah, I think that's going to look pretty good there. In the next video, we'll see if we can find something else in here to begin filling in the space.